Well, this video is a long time coming. Um, this is my world. I have been working on it since I believe 2021 is when this first started. Um, since then, I've played on and off for the last 2.5 years or so, and I've continued to, and I will still continue to keep playing on it. But at this point, it's been so long without any updates, and it's time to share it. And I've actually built two major bases on this, and right now you're looking at the first. But before we get started, I kind of want to look at some of the statistics of this world to show how much playtime has actually been put into this. What we can see is time with the world open is 23 and a half days or so. And time played is at about 15 days. So I'm at about 350 hours of time actually played. So I've invested more time into this world than many other things that I've done. I mean, there's no better thing to start than with the very first thing I ever built in this world. My original dirt hut. This is where I spent the very first night in the world. Built this, hid, and then I dug down to get iron. It was later converted into a mine for this base to go get diamonds and whatnot. And into this field here, which all of this was terraformed. Terraformed all of this. A lot of this was completely changed, was not nearly this flat, nothing like this. Of course, we'll get into that later. But then this was the very first sort of castle town that was built. This was actually my first built up base that not out of dirt. So in here I had a few chests, but if I went around up here, this was where my bed was for this base, and it stayed in this for as long as I could. But then I was soon outgrowing the chests, and then this is a tree farm up here. It was never very useful. It only caught saplings, but didn't do much. But the original chest room and sort of base that I had was this. Still have the dragon head, where this was my base. I had all of my things organized, and it's still pretty efficient if I wanted to use it. But for now, it's abandoned, and you can see some of the goals. I wonder, nether pathway. I've done that. Haven't done that. New base. Well, it's done enough. Have not done that. Have not done that. And haven't done that. So it seems like I'm still working on a lot of those. And then this was kind of the next building. It originally started as this platform here, and then I wanted to build a lot of skyscrapers in this area. But I soon realized that it didn't suit to have skyscrapers here in this area, and I proceeded to build another base. I really wanted to make this like a castle town feel, and I think it did succeed in that, which was nice. And down here, I had my nether portal to, and I had a significant nether system, and I was gonna keep building down there, but I never ended up getting to it because I kind of ran out of room here to build. This, I won't go all the way down, but it was a tunnel to the plains and the beach biome. I do like the look of it. It was quite simple at the time, but this kind of entranceway was a little bit ridiculous. Now if we go out here, we'll go to this big sandstone structure, and I'll talk about that. So all of this water in this lake is completely man-made, where I dug it out to build it. And there's a reason why this is so tall. All the water over there was done by hand with all of that. And then up here, I'm still proud of this. I built what my rendition of the Gardens of Babylon would be. And this took a significant amount of time. And I do want to make a new version of this, but even bigger in my next base. And of course, it is more flush with the environment over here. But just strolling through this took a lot of time placing all of this. But the reason I actually built this was because I needed a spot to put my farms. Yes. So I have my bamboo here, sugarcane here, automatic chickens here, sheep here, and then I had an automatic cow farm over here. And then up here, I had a few farms. And here, let me eat some. But I had carrots, potatoes, and wheat. And all of this was automatically done with water. So you do the water, everything washes down. One thing that you'll see is though, there's a lot of things that get overflown from the hoppers, just like that. And that didn't work out too well. So, and I'll probably replant that later for fun's sake. Now, this major thing here. So, this used up all of my copper and some. So, it was one big copper roof, and I was just gonna let it sit for as long as possible. And this was kind of all my work with villagers. This was the first time I really worked with villagers in a major way, building an actual trading hall. And I would always fly into an elytra over here, and I absolutely love this structure. I love how the floor turned out. And this was my original trading hall. And it was never fully completed, although it is very operational. Still have many villagers that I come here to use that I don't have yet. I don't have any book villagers at my new base yet, so I still come here to use these. I have the villager breeder over there. And then over here, through this tunnel here, we have my first iron farm. This is based off a video calling it the Iron Kelp, and I did a bit more decoration, and it's definitely a lot prettier than what I expected it to be. And now on to my next base. So this is kind of just another angle of it all, up on this hill here. This is the tree farm, and then up there was a failed mob farm. And we're actually going to be heading in that direction, because that is where the next base is. But to get there, I always liked having things not just a nether portal, but having a subway system. And this subway should bring us all the way to the next base. It does go outside the base, but and I'll show you a short time lapse of that now. and welcome to the new city. So my first base, I like to call it Crater Mountain. This base doesn't have so much of a name, and I do apologize for the lag. There is a lot of things happening in this base. So this right here is a future subway that's being built just around the base and doing that. Then this right here, we'll actually go for a little stroll through it. This is the farming district. So this is kind of the rural area of it all. I don't have these as automatic farms yet, although because of the size of these, it is very convenient to just farm all of these: sugarcane, wheat, melon, got it all here for anything that's necessary. Now if we continue on over here, we have a little silo sort of building for all the farming materials. But then right across this bridge here, it is a work in progress, but this was actually the first bridge onto this island, because this is technically an island. And this is unfinished, but this will eventually go all the way to the end portal, along with other builds in the future. Now we will get to the statue and those big buildings soon, but this building with the massive tree, this is actually a newer building. And this is my future villager trading hall. So I have a lot of villagers in here, doing things in here for the city, and I'll eventually expand it upwards into here. But for now, that's what they do. And inside of the tree itself, there's actually spots to build inside the tree. So I can also add things in there. Now, this was one of the second building here ever, and this was just a nice little church. I wanted to make this feel like a little town. A little hotel here, along with, I always thought this was like canal access and just storage for things. And then over here is a future site for a build. But let's go into the hotel real quick, because it's not actually a real hotel. And as you can see by the lag, there's a lot of things going on in here. It is actually an automatic melon and pumpkin farm with many, 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 many rows. We have all of the chests right here, doing all the good work. There actually are a few rooms though. If we go up here, we have a room here, but we also have 2 rooms right here and 1 down there. Now if we go on over here, we walk into our oak tree farm. And you'll see why whenever I look left, there's a lot of lag. So we'll focus going this way. And if I walk through here, this is an empty room because it's just for facade. We have our spruce. Now, onto the statue. This was built using a CAD drawing, so using a CAD model, and is a 1-to-1 or a replica of a figure for a character called Asuna from SAO. Now this down here, as you can tell, it's a pretty major hole in the ground right now, but it will be part of the subway system, and down there will be a hidden casino, and that will actually be the next video. So stay tuned for that. Now this right here, this monolith of a structure, and we will speak about that later, is actually the iron farm. And we'll go in there in just a little bit, but something interesting that I want to show is this right here. I have some signs marking it, but this used to be a plains biome. All of this did. It was completely flattened, so that way I can build this city here. Before we go to the iron farm, let's check out a newer build. This one actually built, February of 2024. And this is the public library. So, just a nice little building. And I have an enchantment table at the end of it. If we go around here, we have a little park, a little cherry grove park. And then that provides access to the walking trail over there. A little ugly bridge, but it's fine. And then, this was dated as well. We have my chicken farm, but also this is a very curious building because this was what I was actually living in while building and flattening all of the land. And now it's kind of just a spot to keep the map. So we're right there. That's where the old base was in the mountain. And that's where we are today. Of course, that's actually not even updated. There's even more buildings than that now. Now, this building to my left, we actually will not go inside of it because this is a museum of the world. So as I build things, I add miniature versions along with journals of how the build went into this building here. There's an office on the top floor up there. Yes, with the little glass windows. And this is my sheep farm, where it has every colored sheep, 4 different types on each level. This building here, even though it's quite grand, inspired by a lot of pavilions, specifically by the Japanese garden up in San Francisco. It houses my nether portal, along with a little world up there. But now let's go check out the iron farm. So the iron farm here, I wanted to hide it for a few reasons, just because I wanted it close so I can always get iron, but I didn't want it to really upset things. So it's completely covered. I also am storing cows and sheep in here for future use, along with a massive cactus farm. Absolutely huge. More cactus than I could ever know what to do with. I have a few ideas, but we'll see if I get to them. So let's move on along. We'll actually go over this building here, just to kind of show, get a little viewpoint, that completely surrounded by water, by rivers. So if we go over to here, we get to, I want to call this a little swordsmith shack. There's nothing in it, it's purely for decoration, but it provides a little bit of solitude away from the city along this main avenue here. And this is where I show the avenue. All of this was completely dug out, and in here is just a super smelter with an ore signifying that up top. But all of this was dug out, and then all the stone was used in my main base here. But before we go into that, let's go into this district right over here, where we have a little canal with a sewer dumping out. But this is actually a monument to a previous world I had, where, of course, there was a tower and I had a massive wooden base, and this is kind of a condensed down version of that. And it doesn't have any use, but it is kind of just a monument to that. And there's also a little pathway that brings us over that island. There is a wall, but it's not too interesting. Along with the pyramids, they don't do anything, they're just for fun. But the final part of this tour will be this mega tower. This mega tower took, I believe it was around 3 months to build, along with this canal being dug out due to how much stone. That stone was also used to build that monument, or the statue. The statue only took a few days, but all of the stone is still being used. You can see it does go all the way up to build limit. And why there's nothing in here is actually part of the lag problem. This building is what causes the lag. If we go down here, we have the chest room, and this has every item I could possibly need. It is somewhat unfinished because more room for more chests when I need them. And to end this video off, we'll take a little fly around. A flight over the island. You can see the 4 beacons lighted up. It is actually an island surrounded by water. And beautiful in the night. But that is all. Thank you for watching.